What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are approaching 5,000 subs, so we figured what better reason to celebrate, give some stuff away, and announce some exciting changes coming to the channel. So first off, to win, make sure you get subscribed because we will be doing the giveaway once we hit 5,000 subs, and we will announce the winner once we hit 5,000 subs down in the comments. So first off, before we get into how you enter to win, I want to share with you some exciting changes coming to the channel. So we heard your feedback loud and clear on our comparison ball review videos. You guys want consistent faces across all the videos. We're excited to announce to you today, first off that we're going to have the same people moving forward and share with you who they are. So first is going to be Chris Mays. Two-hander, epitomizes the high rev two-handed style, PBA success, JBT success, honor scores, really good player, and most importantly for these videos, he's not a staffer, he's pretty unbiased, and he's very good at explaining and understanding and seeing ball motion. On the low rev side, we have another non-staffer, which is Josh Malloy, a former GCU collegiate higher average player in collegiate, which is tough because they get pretty hard sometimes in college. Again, honor scores, JBT success, non-staffer again, and a pro shop operator. So he's very good at seeing, understanding, and explaining ball motion for all skill levels. He's gonna be your traditional thumb in low rev style, and you'll see Chris and Josh moving forward in all of our comparison ball reviews starting in September. The second exciting change coming to the channel, since we have Josh and Chris doing all the ball review videos now, we can use them to do another series called a versus series, where we're gonna have products go against each other mano-a-mano and have the high rev and low rev styles both pick what ball they like best. So for example, coming up in September, we're going to have a Hammer high performance bowling ball and a Storm high performance bowling ball, your two biggest brands, square off with the low rev and high rev player picking which ball they like best between the two. So, and that's kind of the theme that we're gonna be going for with the channel moving forward, is non-staffers, unbiased, real feedback to help you with making your purchase. Now, how do you win the bowling ball? So first off, you should know in normal, non-staffer, unbiased theme that we're going for, you can choose any ball you want from any brand if you win. If you live in the Arizona area, we'll also drill it for you for free. We'll get you on the lanes, find your PAP, give you the normal virtue treatment, and throw in the gripping accessories. So to be able to win, all you have to do is watch this video all the way through. We're gonna be going through our top 5 performing videos. Like this video, make sure you subscribe, and comment down below what is your favorite content. Do you like the pink slips, comparison ball reviews, or tour talks, or anything else like that? As always, guys, keep the feedback coming. We're grateful that we got to 5,000 subs, but we know if we need to get to 10,000, we need to continue to listen to our followers and supporters and continue to improve on our content so we can get to that next level. And without further ado, here are our top 5 performing videos in the last couple of years. All right, Matt has determined the order of the match. He's elected to go first, Karina second, Derek is third, and we are getting the match started. Now, they did not really get any shots on 24. There's basically no practice on it, so they have no idea where to stand. And that...
Oh, he's slapping him off already. This is unbelievable.
We do have newcomer Karine. For those of you that love pink slips, this is her first video, fresh off of a pretty successful PWBA season. And if that isn't exciting enough, she gets to bowl against her husband, so which is pretty cool.
I don't win very much when I bowl her.
But anytime you're dealing with a really high differential, asymmetrical bowling ball, I think anytime you can see a high rev player get left with a bowling ball like that and it still continue to shape and not flat 10, those kinds of things, that's normally a pretty good test for the really big forward bowling balls. So Matty, this is coming out about the same time as the Scorpion low flare. As a higher rev player, which ball do you think you're going to be throwing most often?
The low flare for sure. Low flare is definitely more usable for high rev players. This Widow for me is definitely going to be usable with longer, more volume. Where the low flare is.
Oh, wow.
That's why he averages.
God.
You couldn't see it, but he rolled the 6.
Of course he did.
All right, we have 9 shots and 8 strikes between 3 very different players. A lefty, pretty straight, still a lot of power, a lot of ball speed, a lot of rev rate in Matt with a little softer ball speed, and a medium rev rate, medium ball speed in Karine. It's still a lot of striking.
God, that could have 9-pinned, bro.
He's even talking to him up there. So Karine's up next, and we have a high-scoring match here. For those of you that are new, we only have one Pink Slips perfect score ever, and that is this gentleman right here. Matt, are you thinking you can maybe do it twice?
It would be awesome if I could. We'll see, man. Derek's about to use it. Thank God he's using it on Corey.
Yeah, I think he's really trying to find a place on the couch.
He is, for sure. I mean, both of them are such good bowlers, man. It's insane. Like, it's so awesome to be doing these videos with caliber bowlers like them. Like, it really is.
Yep. And they also have 3 little ones at home. I think the oldest is maybe 4, maybe 5 at this point.
That's a lot of work.
It was at this moment he knew. He fucked up.
It worked. Oh, no.
So not only is there the couch, but there's diaper changes, cleaning the bottles.
Yes.
Well, if you need some help moving the couch like to the garage or something to really make it even worse, you know, it is kind of cold in Arizona right now. It was 50 when we woke up, which for us is. Maddie's got 1 more here in it. That's pretty dang good. See what he's got.
I just can't even see.
Second perfect game. Oh!
I heard a slap out.
Trips the 9 pin.
Unbelievable. The second one.
Wow.
So this is definitely a big jump from the brutal collision. Brutal collision was way more forward. It seems like they kind of got the formula down to now get it a little more shape down lane.
I agree.
I'm pretty supportive. I don't know if one did. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
This and then it'll just.
Oh, it's gotta go.
Little. And it just tells you how good this ball is.
I think he's gonna serve it. I wanted to strike, but
I believe you.
Oh, I hit my shoe.
He needs out.
Oh, man. He just no, bro. Oh, that's so mean.
That might have been Kareem. Kareem might have willed that into the universe.
Oh, I'm so sad.
All right, Maddie, you're still the only one.
No.
2 for 2. Kyle got really close. I think you really retired quite a bit earlier, and we were working together a lot at that time in the pro shop, a lot earlier than most guys. And I guess, and I think that was also kind of family oriented as well. Or how much of that did you feel like you could still kind of compete at that level? And I guess to maybe even add to it, how would you recommend today's current younger players that, I mean, even on the telecast, they talked about EJ, has a new kid. And how would you suggest those new players balance or make the decisions around traveling and starting a family? And how did that play into your decision?
The first topic was me retiring. It was a multifold decision. One was I didn't think I could be a top 5 player anymore based on the changes in the game with urethane and power and two-handed. Could I be relevant? Yeah, I could be relevant. I could be a top 15, top 20 player, but I couldn't be really a top 5 player. And to be very successful out there, you need to be a top 5 player. And so it just wasn't in my cards. And I came instead of being bitter. There are a lot of times people stick with this game too long and become bitter. Yeah. And they become hateful on the changes in the game. There's going to be changes in the world, society-wise, industry-wise. So you either have to adapt to the changes or get out. And it was one of those, I tried adapting my game to it, and I just couldn't get there week in and week out. And then just the mental grind to be away from my kids. And it was hard. So I just needed to make a change. And then threefold, the job became available with the PBA. And it was something that I thought I could do good at, and I was good at. And so it just was a combination. And then COVID happened. And then there was 5 months, 6 months off of bowling with no bowling. So it was just the culmination of everything that.
Yeah, I can definitely relate on the urethane side.
I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. And at that time it happened. And I was perfectly fine with stepping away. People say, don't you miss it? I don't, because I felt like I gave 100% while I was out there. So there's nothing to look back and regret about.
Today we are doing another comparisons ball review featuring Specto and doing a perception versus reality on the new Hammer Black Widow 3.0. At the very end of this video, I will dive deep into the Specto data and give you some insights that I would take away that you might find interesting.
I'm excited. I'm going to be comparing it to the Extreme Envy and the Hitter.
All right, let's get started.
it'll be really good for maybe game 1 of league. I can see it probably starting to roll too early by game 2. I think it'll be really good for patterns on heavier or longer oil patterns on the fresh.
All right, great. And what are you going to be comparing to next?
I'm going to be throwing the Extreme Envy next.
All right, let's see it.
I think the hitter is a little bit cleaner through the fronts than the 3.0. They're pretty comparable overall hook potential, I would say. But I think that if I need something to read a little bit sooner, I would throw the 3.0. And then once that starts to read a little bit early, I'd go to the hitter. I actually think it's a really good 1-2 combination.
All right, Kareen, one game with the 3.0. You've also compared to the Extreme Envy and the hitter. What is your final rating on the 3.0, and when do you think you're going to be using it?
My final rating on the 3.0 is fire. I think I'll be throwing it game 1 of league and definitely at tournaments on longer patterns and patterns with higher volume.
We got the lefty back today throwing the Black Widow 3.0. Derek, how are you feeling about this ball? What do you think?
I'm excited. I got like 2 practice shots. This thing hooked a whole bunch, so I'm excited to throw some more. I have not been the biggest fan of Black Widows in the past, really, whether they've been reactive or urethane. They've never really matched my game, so I'm excited to see where this one fits. Hopefully,
cool. And what two balls are you going to be comparing to today?
We are comparing to an Eternity Pi, which should be a step just above, and an Exponent, which should be a little bit below. We'll see.
Sounds good.
This ball is good. I just missed once in about the last 15 minutes throwing this thing. I cannot say enough. It hooks a bunch, but it's really forward for me to where it doesn't like overhook. I needed to move a little bit at the end. You can see me 8-pin here, but this ball is absolutely disgusting. It's fun to throw. It hooks a bunch.
All right, Derek, so what are we going to be comparing to next?
We're going to bring out a ball that you guys see a lot. It is the Eternity Pi. That's obviously a big winner for me. We'll see how it stacks up. I'm actually very surprised. I expected the Eternity Pi to be a step above, just being a high-performance bowling ball, but I actually have it about 2 boards less than the Black Widow. So for me, I have a mid-performance ball sitting over a high-performance ball, which is pretty crazy considering the price difference. The Widow is definitely earlier. The Exponent was probably the wrong ball for what I'm bowling on right now. It got down the lane a little bit better than the other two just because it doesn't have as much surface, and it was pretty responsive once it saw the dry. You can see one that I get pretty far left and it just absolutely wheels. So it was probably just the wrong choice. But it's good once you need to kind of get your angles open and get something down the lane a little bit better when the Widow just reads the lane really, really early. This ball is absolutely awesome. There's absolutely no doubt in my mind right now this ball is the absolute nuts. This ball is good.
So that's what the bowlers think, but what does the Specto data say? Starting off with Kareen, first let's get a good appreciation of how much more consistent she is than her other half, Derek. So that is her husband, these are spouses, but look at her speed and RPM variance. Very low. We typically see about 3 to 4% variance in speed, and we see almost 0, basically like less than 1% with her. And in RPM, we normally see anywhere from 7 to 10% variance in our testers, and with her, we see like much less. What are the takeaways in terms of Kareen's bowling balls? Well, the 3.0 definitely takes the cake for change of direction down lane, and it still also slows down quite a bit. So we should see a consistent outperformance from the 3.0 in terms of change of direction over time. And what we'll notice here is the Extreme Envy actually changes direction the least in the back part of the lane, which could be a sign that for her, the Extreme Envy might be only best when going straighter. And as she starts to get left with the Extreme Envy, it might start to struggle, having less overall change of direction and significantly less impact angle down lane, she may then have to switch to a 3.0 later on in the block. In Derek's case, the outlier was definitely the Eternity Pi, which slowed down the least and also had the least change of direction. What's more interesting here is being able to compare the Widow 3.0 to the Exponent, since they're different brands and very different bowling balls, but performed very similar. You can see the Widow 3.0 and Exponent in the categories of impact angle, speed loss throughout the lane, and change of direction in the back part of the lane, and in total, were quite similar. The Exponent is a symmetrical bowling ball, while the Widow 3.0 is not only asymmetric, but has a lot of differential. In this case, because we're on a house shot, the Exponent, I believe, is able to still keep up with the Widow 3.0, thanks to the additional friction and help that is built into the oil pattern. With that said, the Exponent still deserves kudos. Much smaller engine, and on a house shot, it is keeping up with a much higher performing bowling ball in the Widow 3.0, which could be a sign that the Exponent is a great value bowling ball that could be going under the radar. Hey guys, let's talk about tapes today, specifically tapes that go in your thumb hole. Why would you want to use tapes? Well, what tapes do are they basically go in the thumb hole to help change the size of your hole as your thumb might change. Well, why would you want to use them? Well, if you don't use tape, what's going to happen is if the thumb hole is a little big, you're going to have to squeeze to hold on to it, and then you're going to have to remember to let go or be able to let go at the same time every time. And it basically adds another variable that can impact your overall consistency if you let go of it earlier or later, etc. So when you start using tapes, what it allows you to do is to create a nice tight thumb hole, so that way you can leave your hand nice and relaxed, and the ball will always come off at the bottom of your swing, and it'll come off at the same time every time, allowing you to be a little bit more consistent. So I have two different types of tapes here. I have the most common type, which is white and black, but it's important to know that the white is textured and the black is smooth. Now, people will not always do it this way, but the way it's designed, the white tape, the textured tape, is meant for the front of your thumb hole to sit on the pad of your thumb. And the black tape is designed and meant for the back of the hole, where you want to be able to kind of release and have it come off easy. Now, first, it's important to know that if you don't put this textured tape in the right spot, for many people it can cause you to break open and blister because it's textured. Now, there are insert tape tools that you can check out, but a nice little trick is just putting it right on the tip of the paper like that, and then curling the paper up. And now with texture tape, again, I would recommend it on the front. And an easy way, a common mistake, is they put it directly in the front of the thumb hole. But when we put our thumb in, it actually doesn't go directly forward like that. It tends to angle a little bit more forward. So normally what I tell people, a good visual line to use is the edge of this grip. So we're going to put that in there. And you can see with the piece of paper, it makes it a lot easier. And then we're going to do the same thing with black. So I'm going to tear this off here again, just like so. And now I'm just going to flip it and put it basically completely opposite of where we put that last piece. This one's not sticking to the paper quite as well. But that gives you a general idea. White tape in the front, black in the back. And you can kind of alternate to create different feels. But that's where you're going to want to put the tape, and it's important to understand the difference between the textures of the tape. But Vice actually has some Feel Performance tape that gives you a large range of textures. So you can see here number 1 being the quickest, number 8 being the slowest, so that means number 8 is the tackiest, and number 1 is going to be the most slick. Now black, which is not on this chart, is going to actually be below number 1 or very close to number 1. And so you can use all kinds of different variations of these. You can use black in the back or 1 in the back. You can use 8 in the front all the way down to this white, or the 3 in the front. And with all those different combinations, you can really find the feel that you like best. Another thing to keep in mind is that the white options, sometimes there is a premium white tape out there that is really, really tacky, so you can check that out. Also, the black tapes can vary in thickness. So from brand to brand, you can check those out if you're looking for either a thinner or thicker black tape. They will vary from time to time. Alright, and for the last part about tape, my favorite tip that over the years in the pro shop I get the most positive feedback on is the half piece. And it might sound crazy, but it really is a game changer. Once you start using tape a lot, you'll find that you'll be in between pieces. And so all we're going to do is tear the piece in half there, and we're going to still use that same trick to install it, curl this up a little bit. And the key is we're getting it down where it's only on the pad of the thumb. Getting pretty far down in there. If you have fairly, not skinny fingers like me, there are insert tape tools that you can use. So the advantage of that is it will give you a little bit more grip down here on the bottom of your thumb, but right when you go to initially clear, you're not going to feel that additional drag at the top of the thumb. So the top of the thumb feels the same, but the bottom of the thumb gives you a little bit more grip. And I promise you, try this out as you get used to tape and you get more particular about your feel. The half a piece of tape can be a game changer. Today, we throw 4 different urethane bowling balls, 5 shots per ball on house shot and sports shot, collect all the specto data so that way you know the perception versus the reality on your 4 most popular urethane products, which ones you should use and look at and why. You're probably thinking, what are those numbers over there and what am I supposed to do with them? Well, it's just a little bit of sample data from Specto that I want to give to you after each ball and each pattern so you can kind of analyze the results as we go. At the very end of this video, we'll dive deep into even more data and I will give you my takeaways and the takeaways you should take between all these 4 bowling balls on the 2 different patterns. But so you understand it, total boards of hook is pretty self-explanatory, the total amount of boards of hook. The angle section, you have launch angle, which is going to be the angle in the front part of the lane. Since Derek is lefty, it is a negative number, which means the bigger the negative number, the more angle he's creating in the front part of the lane. Then you have impact angle, which is basically the angle the bowling ball is creating down lane. And then you have speed loss in the fronts, mids, and back part of the lane. Basically, this is really going to tell you where the ball is slowing down the most and is going to impact shape. If it slows down a lot more in the front part of the lane, you're going to see a smoother ball. If it slows quite a bit in the back part of the lane, you're going to see a quicker shape down lane.
And we'll see how this one compares. So I'll start in the same spot like I typically do. This hasn't been down the lane in a while, so I have a feeling this is definitely going to the right of the head pin. Yeah. So obviously Brunswick's goal was to mimic this ball with the blue one, so you guys can see I'm pretty close. This one's just a smidge sooner, but I mean not really a huge difference in overall performance. There's one that kind of loops it. It's just slower to respond in comparison to the blue, but their goal is to make it really close, and I think they accomplished that. So. I have no idea where to stand. I'm gonna go back pretty close to where I was with the new blue and kind of play it from there. So we have not thrown a single shot on this, so we're going to kind of go through the same process, getting lined up on sport. Knowing it's 39 feet, I'm going to try and stand a little further left, just play a little closer.
All right, here we go. Derek is getting started. Winding road sport pattern, starting off with the new blue with specto data.
All right. So very quickly, we are seeing we need to move left. I am already ready to get into the urethane ones that just read sooner. I can tell my ball's just getting too far down the lane immediately.
Yep.
That's pretty good. All right. IQ 78 time. We'll start in the same spot. That went 150 feet.
So Derek, already second shot in, big move compared to the house shot. So would you say on sport pattern you're seeing a bigger difference between the IQ 78 and the new blue?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. much sooner, but keeps everything to really drive through the pins much better into having to open up the lane and just making the pattern much flatter than it needs to be because I needed to open up my angles.
All right, winding road sport pattern. Now we are going to compare to the purple hammer.
Wow. That is so much stronger.
That was even softer, so this would be a USB-C.
Good one. Yeah. So far out of the three, if I were to pick one to throw on this, it would definitely be the purple. That is where I ended with the purple.
Okay.
And instantly I'm going to make a 2 left.
Got it.
Yeah, really close. Really close to the IQ. IQ is just a little sooner, just because it's got so much fresh surface buried into it and a bigger core.
Yeah. So according to the Specto data, who is the king of urethane? Well, you might be surprised. Let's dive into the data. Now, while you only got to see 5 shots from Derek, he actually threw 10 shots with every bowling ball on both patterns. I would say based on this data, the new blue is going to be king of the house shot, purple hammer is going to be a king of the sport pattern when it's not PBA, and the IQ Tour 78 will probably be king of the PBA.
I think they're 3 completely different bowling balls and have 3 completely different purposes, which is good. For me, the new blue is much longer down the lane, shapes a lot more, going to be much more useful once the pattern blends in comparison to bowling on the fresh when you really got to keep your angles pretty square and just really control the front part of the lane. That's where the purple comes in if you need to shape it, but still control the lane. The purple's like that perfect piece just because it's so early. And then there's the IQ 78, for me about an arrow weaker, much closer to a really old pitch black, or if you guys have thrown black hammers, much closer to a black hammer, to where they're really forward, they stand up on themselves and really don't shape much. For me right now, I see 2 completely different balls. I think it'll be a direct replacement for like a black hammer for me. Black hammer will most likely come out of my bag being replaced by this, which will be the weakest urethane piece that I keep in my arsenal, which makes sense. A higher hardness, it's not going to hook as much.